Yeah, we back.
Real deal time?
Real deal time.
We're back? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Back so soon. Okay. Can
I
you
think
cue the
I was about to
please?
say I got to cue the new intro. We got
Here comes
here
the
we go. My
money.
music.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Dollar, dollar.
Yeah, I like that. It sounds good.
It's fitting.
It sounds amazing. Man, I really can't wait until we actually get the live audience and have people join us. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fire, dog.
It's gonna be fun for sure. Wow. Okay, so being that we are episode 4, I'm guessing people have heard episode 1. I'm guessing they've heard at least episode 2. And if they're still here after episode 2, then I know exactly what type of person that they are. They probably hate us, but they probably want to listen to what we have to say
Yeah.
on other topics so they can continue hating us.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Which I'm okay with. I love it. I love the hate. I mean, it's weird. Okay, so being that we are on episode 4, what's the title for episode 4? Do we even have one?
If I'm being honest, I think we're posing a question based on our point of view, which is, why the go-to-market roles are shifting to the right.
Yeah. So let's should we think of a title like right now? Let's do it. Let's think of a title right now. I know I think we spoke when we talked about yesterday.
Orange is
posed,
the new
like,
black.
Yeah, like right is right or something like that.
Yeah, right is right. Yeah.
I think we can
Right
just
is the
stick-
new right. Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
right is the new right. I like that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So being that right is the new right, which we just made up, but I love it. Let's talk about it. So the overarching topic of that is being that go-to-market roles are shifting to the right. Like that's the whole reason why we're even in business. And so pretty much we're going to talk about it. Talk about some reasons, trends, what people should do, what they shouldn't do, and pretty much to help people kind of get on the same page as us, pretty much, and on the same page as what the market is saying is the new right. So let's actually talk about it. What do you have? What are your initial thoughts on that when you hear go-to-market roles are shifting to the right?
Well, I mean, there's a direction, right, that go-to-market needs to move in, and it's only one way to go, and it's towards the right, which is where the revenue is. Revenue is right.
Revenue is right.
Anything going against revenue is to the left. So those are, let's say you got 2 goalposts in the company, and revenue is the right goalpost, and let's just say operations and just maintenance is to the left. Let's put it that way. When we say go-to-market roles are shifting to the right, it means that they're getting closer to revenue. I think a great example is when we were talking about the position. If you look at the position of who's closest to revenue, CS is the closest to revenue, then sales, then marketing is the furthest away. And so marketers really have it the hardest, if I'm being honest. They're the furthest away from revenue, but they're almost the most responsible for it. So yeah, my initial thoughts is that they have to think about strategies and ways of getting closer to revenue and making sure that their activities and initiatives line up with like the goalpost of revenue.
Yeah. And again, just to clarify, when we say that marketing is the furthest away, we're speaking not in the sense of like marketing does not worry about revenue, right? But it's just marketing is the furthest away because they have to go through so many steps to get to the revenue. And I think they're the least, like they're not directly, which sounds crazy to say, but I don't think they're like directly correlated to revenue. At least they weren't, right? That's the whole thing of it, MQL, right? It's like it's the furthest away, which is why you have an MQL and then you have an SQL. So that kind of just talks about, again, because I know some people are gonna be like, what do you mean marketing is the furthest away? Well, because I wish we could draw like actual visual, but CS is like there with revenue. It's kind of after revenue is already given to them and they're just really maintaining it. So they're like right there next to it. And then sales is like the step right before you actually, or is what do you call it? Like I guess we just call it a conversion. Yeah, we just call it the actual conversion stage, right? That's where you're actually getting the revenue. So you're getting the revenue with sales, you're keeping the revenue with CS, and then marketing is like the step right before sales. And sales is like that, again, that middle ground. But with MQL is like, it makes it sound like it's so far out. which is why I think now when we say like marketing is, because as we know, like marketing gets hit the most with now that there's a brand new market, right? A new go-to-market strategies.
But hey, it makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, the reason marketing is getting scrutinized so much is because the way sales and marketing, the dynamic between the two were historically was like marketing is just bringing in anybody who's willing to hop on a demo, and then sales has to drag them from being problem unaware, uninterested to being somebody who's ready to buy. That's a lot of work. So now it's almost as if marketing's being responsible for what they should have been responsible for in the first place. And on top of that, marketing is almost a branch of finances of the finance department, if I'm being honest, because they are responsible for a significant amount of expenditure from the company. And one of the roles of the CFO is to make sure the company's staying profitable and making wise choices as far as where's this money being deployed and that there's an ROI there. Marketing has to look at it from the same lens. So, of course, you're being scrutinized because you're spending a big chunk of change that the company's bringing in on something that you hope is going to work.
And it's crazy. It's like, because marketing is like, obviously marketing is giving one to bring back 2.5 at this point. When I feel like before, and again, so because I feel like we're talking like kind of vague, right? So when we say before, we're talking about before like this hike of like the actual shift. So time frame wise, again, we're talking about like 2020 to 2021.
Yeah. That's when I think that's when we initially started having the conversation. Like, there's something happening here.
Yeah, because of the actual funding that the company gets. And again, I feel like before then, I feel like companies were being asked, or marketing was being asked to bring, for every one I give you, bring me back 1.5, maybe 2, really like 1.5 for most companies. Again, we're talking about for most companies. But now it's like, I feel like marketing is being asked to bring back 3 now. Like, for every one I give you, I need you to bring me back 3 because the companies need to make more money and they need to make it more efficiently. So therefore, obviously, that big phrase is like marketing is being asked to do more with less. Like, I think everybody has heard that term on LinkedIn by now already, and that stands true.
But if you think about it, it makes sense too. I mean, before 2021, it was easy to go, a lot easier. I won't say easy because I know it can be difficult for founders, and I'm not going to be asympathetic towards it, but it was a lot easier to raise another round if you were running out of money. You could let marketing do what they do. They didn't have to have a profitable program as long as they were bringing some revenue. Was it profitable? No, but I can go raise another round and make up for it. Now CEOs and the board know that capital is more expensive than ever, and it's not that easy to go raise another round to make up for your lack of efficient growth. And so now that the head of the company is feeling it, which is the CEO and the board, now that they're feeling it, this new culture has to cascade all the way down to everybody, all the VPs, the other chief suite, the C-suites, the other, managers, directors, everybody is now feeling the effects of going from growth at all costs to growing efficiently. It's just a growing pains now.
Yeah. And again, that's where like the whole, like when we spoke about on episode 2 about these made up roles that are now coming up. If you haven't heard episode 2, I advise you to go back and listen to it so you can hate us a little bit more. But when we talk about like a role like RevOps leader, or just a term RevOps, or like demand generation, it's like these are terms and things that came about, or they became pretty much mainstream within the last 2 years.
Yeah,
really, it feels like 18 months. But they became like these big terms of things that companies should really already be doing. You should really already be, using your money efficiently, right? You should already, because it's about what is being asked from the go-to-market team now, right? Because now you realize, like, okay, well, marketing and CS and sales, they all look at the customer a little bit differently. They all have a little bit different data and information. So how about we share that, And if companies weren't doing it before, now they're definitely seeing the reason as to why they should. because again, the word I love to use so much is synergy, right? There's no synergy from the time that somebody sees your ads to the time that they hop on a sales call and to the time that they actually get to your product. And I feel like a term like RevOps was needed, to make it seem like it's a revolutionary thing that people weren't supposed to be doing before, or they weren't doing, and now everybody's supposed to be doing it now. And we're going to call it RevOps, which is really just company alignment, which is things that you should have been doing anyways.
It's crazy. It goes back to like one of the very first conversations we ever had on the A2B series. I know you're going to know exactly which one I'm talking about, but when we were talking about make bootstrapping cool again, it's the same sentiment, because I don't have the article, and I'll try and find it, but there's been conversations that I've heard where it's like that culture that some CEO, like the way that companies are trying to blitz scale or whatnot, is that they're just trying to get to the next round and get to really just blow up the valuation of their company, and they're not really focused on doing like efficiently growing and putting all the proper operations in place to run like a well-structured company, but just blow the valuation out of proportion. And now that it's more difficult to do that, to jump to the next round of funding, now the CEOs and the leaders of these companies have to think. They have to almost think like, how would I operate now if I was bootstrapped the rest of the way?
Yeah. No, seriously. And because I think that goes towards, I'm going to look it up, but it goes towards the culture of startups, right? As far as like, you'll see a lot of people come in and like they want to boost up the valuation to their company because they're looking to exit anyways, like they want to get out. And so some of those behaviors that you'll see, sometimes it's about what a head of marketing is asked to do, right? If you're coming in, you're asked to like, okay, get all these leads so we can, do math and we can forecast revenue out so that we can show the investors, right? Versus, because that sounds more sexy than saying, hey, well, let's do a demand gen strategy so we can create demand in our category so that we can actually show we have demand being created, which is very harder to do and it takes much longer, right? On average, I believe it takes like 9 months to even see like a demand strategy through, which companies just aren't even willing to really do, or before they was, and now they're actually getting accustomed to it because of the market. But I'm interested to see like the level,
it's really
the amount of acquisition in between that time frame.
Yeah, it's really. I'm glad you brought that up, because this market is a blessing in disguise. It's because it's forcing companies to be patient. Like patience is probably the second most important P word right now in business, but behind profitability.
Yep.
Now it's to be patient, because if you want to be profitable, a lot of the stuff you're doing you have to be patient with. Not be patient in the sense you just sit there like a knot on the log and not know what's going on, but to let the initiative, the strategy you're working on, and let them see its time through. I think patience is causing companies to kind of slow down, because tech is fast paced. We know that's why we fell in love with. If you remember, this is why we fell in love with B2B SaaS. It was so fast paced. Everything's changed. There's so much fluctuation. Now it's like, homeboy, it's time to slow down. It's time to slow down. And
look here. Here goes right here. It says in Q1 of 2023, it said the number of disclosed M&A deals for venture-backed startups decreased by 31%. And so that goes to exactly what you were just saying, how companies are doing this thing to boost up like their valuation so they can exit, right? Because obviously like a lot of people get into startups or get into business really for the money. And so if you're like, hey, well, if I can boost my valuation up to 100 million and I can sell it for a lot of money, then it's like, I'm going to do that, and so I think that, and again, that goes to what CMOs and VPs of marketing and like head of marketing is just being asked to do. And so now you're seeing a decrease in acquisition. So now it's like, holy shit, I can't just boost the valuation of the company and sell it. I have to actually be profitable. I have to actually make money, right? And so now that's why you see go-to-market roles are shifting to the right, because now acquisitions decreasing. I have to actually run a company now. Oh my God, I never planned on doing this. I never planned on actually making money in the company. I just planned on boosting up my valuation so I could sell it, so I could be rich, which is wrong, which is very wrong. And so people, I think, are shifting to the right, which is doing it the right way and actually building companies. And this is where you see these terms like RevOps and demand generation, right, becoming big terms now, because they're like, oh my God, I have to actually do things the right way, which is what we should have been doing for the past 5 years, but we haven't been. And so you're telling me we have to actually create some type of demand in our category. We have to create a brand narrative in our industry. Who would have ever thought, right? But that's beyond. I can rant about that for days.
Yeah, bro. Again, it starts from the top of the company, like the CEOs who are in this for the long run, who are in it for the glory that comes out of being a world-class CEO, versus those who are in it just for a big exit so they can go live on a private island and live out the rest of their years there. It's a difference, and you can tell by how well the company is structured. They say it very often. I hear it a lot, and you tell me if you hear the same thing. But it's like the same thing applies to business, because they say the most millionaires are made when the economy is coming out of a downturn. And I think the same thing works in business. The best CEOs who are in it for the long run have prepared for a moment like this. They know how to be cash flow efficient. They know how to be, keep everything positive and flowing. They know how to be conservative when they need to be, so that when it's time to come out the market, they're going to be on top of the world.
Yeah, again, it's really about just doing things the right way, like you should have been doing originally.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's really, if you really want to blame somebody, I'll put blame on leadership always. Leadership always has to take accountability. Like, we literally just said this right before we started this about the right CMOs, right, being intertwined with the company goals, not just like heads down. Oh, like, what's my CAC? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? What are my marketing metrics? Right, people, the good CMOs look up and they could look at the company goals and look back down and say, okay, well, this is what we need to do to hit these goals for the company, not just these goals for marketing. And leadership should or would respect that way much more, obviously, because just because you hit marketing goals for you doesn't mean you're hitting the overarching goals of the company, or like what are the goals of the board? Like what do they want? And to add to that, you have other CMOs that were not prepared for that. So they just look heads down and they're not looking up at the company goals. And so now it's like, well, now you have to. And so you see the difference between a great CMO and a decent CMO, or a CMO that does what he's asked to do, which goes to what we said about the VPs of marketing, how VPs of marketing should be doing CMO shit. You should be doing, if you're a VP of anything, make it clear, a VP of anything, you should be doing more shit than what you're asked of, right? And that goes to hiring, which goes to leadership. You shouldn't hire somebody that says, okay, well, if the job description only says X, Y, and Z, I'm only going to do X, Y, and Z, and that's it. You have to hire somebody else to go do alignment for go-to-market, because I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm glad you pulled that up, because I'm typing it in right now. I seen an article earlier about, and it's crazy. Hold on, let me pull it up, because you're gonna agree with this sentiment. Where's it at? All right, bingo. Here we go. Let me pull up my screen. Yep. I'm glad it's Gartner, because ain't nobody's gonna sit here and argue with Gartner. If Gartner says something is right, it's right. Gartner's like the Bible for business for some reason. I don't know why, but this is literally what it says. So, a Gartner survey reveals 71% of CMOs believe they lack sufficient budget to fully execute their strategy in 2023. That is an interesting take, because again, it shows how zoomed in and siloed the marketing department can be when it comes to the overall company.
Let's actually talk about it. Gartner survey reveals 71% of CMOs believe they believe that they lack funds, right? They believe they don't have enough funds to see their strategy through. I can't speak for every CMO, right? I can't speak for every company, but majority of it is probably not true. Like, it's probably not true. I'm pretty sure a lot of these CMOs that were in the survey, they probably have enough budget. I'm not saying all of them, right? They probably have enough budget, and they're probably just not using it right. They're probably not probably not using their budget, which is why you have, again, which is why consultants are even a thing. They wouldn't be in business if 71% of companies just, they wasn't getting enough budget. That's not true. I just don't think it's true. I think it's just a matter of using your budget right. And I think a lot of people in companies, in marketing, or just a company in general, really don't use their budget right.
This is the result. This is literally the result of companies being pacified by venture capital for so long.
Yeah.
Like, literally, Carter put out a report too. I'll find that one equally, but like, Carter saw a huge drop in the amount of funding. I think it went from $60 billion in quarter two of 2021 to just past Q2, I think it was only 30 billion that how much funding was happening on their platform. But again, the CMO needs to zoom out and stop looking at just how much it costs to do marketing. Like, you need to show the finance team and the rest of the company a little bit of sympathy too, because you can't just focus on how much it costs for your program, but like, what's the profitability of the company? Like, if the company isn't profitable and it's this difficult to raise another round of funding, you have to be a lot more creative and scrappy with your resources. You can't just say, oh, I want to focus heavy on event and demand and all these different initiatives. I don't want to show any ROI on how it works, but I want another $200,000 in budget. I want to go hire these people. And it doesn't make sense. Like, the company's not that profitable and you're cutting into the profit margin because, again, like we said earlier, marketing's expenditure takes up a big part of where the company's funding goes. Like, I see the number fluctuate anywhere around like 10 to 15% of company revenue.
But I want to add as well to those CMO or to those marketing departments that are very well somewhere in this survey. Scroll down on this survey. It said, so it's a survey of 410
Here it is.
CMO. Okay. So, because I do believe like this could be a possibility. Obviously we didn't do the survey, so we can only look at what we see. And we're not going to read through the entire survey right now. We're going to read highlights. It says 86% of marketers said they must make significant changes to how the marketing function works to achieve sustainable results. Wow, I think things are shifting, Isaiah.
They are.
I'm pretty sure things are shifting. But part of this survey, which I will be interested if they do break down, how many of these marketing programs actually do work, right? How many of these marketing programs actually do work and they just cannot get more budget, not because of marketing, but because of sales, right? Maybe sales is just not doing a good enough job with what marketing has coming in, and maybe they need to rethink their entire sales team. Maybe that could be a possibility. I would be interested to see.
That's because they don't know. Again, and we went at it with a few people before on marketing doesn't know what to look for, and marketing needs to go educate themselves on what. Again, it goes back to the zoom out. You understand what a bottleneck for marketing is, but you don't understand what a bottleneck for sales and CS looks like. But sales and CS is just as important for how your program works as you are. So if you can't go in there in the CRM and look at what's the time to call a lead, and it's like on average 5 days for somebody to get to a lead, it's like, well, my budget works. Like, I'm driving a lot of pipeline, but the sales team is they suck.
If anything, your budget might need to be cut. You might need to use less budget. Maybe you need to bring in less pipeline. That could be a possibility.
We literally had that happen to us, in 2021 when we were driving a whole lot of qualified pipeline, but the sales team just could not handle the pipeline. And so the company was like, look, it's not on y'all, but we have to cut spend. We can't keep spending it for a pipeline that's not going to close. So until we figure out... we at first, we didn't understand at that point how, like, we were like, huh? That doesn't make sense. But now we understand as we've matured, it's like, don't keep pouring water into a leaky bucket. Go fix the patch so that you can fill the bucket properly. And it works the same way. Like, if sales isn't converting the amount of pipeline that you're bringing in, reduce the budget. Go fix the issue in sales and then increase your budget again and keep doing what you were doing before.
Yeah, just put the budget on hold. Scroll down a little more. Because there goes right there where it says they're being asked to do more or less. Yeah.
That's every article that a CMO reads. They're going to see that same. It's really. I'm going to hold my tongue on that one.
Yeah, CMOs have seen technology investments tumble into new lows of unproductivity, with utilization rates falling from 58% in 2020 to 42% in 2022. Like, that's literally it right there. That goes to show, obviously, things are changing, and I feel bad for the companies that are not changing with it.
If you're still on a spending rampage, if you're still looking to do hiring spikes, if you're still looking to effortlessly throw money into tech investments and things like that, then you're not really taking the time to understand the ROI and the story that goes into it. You're gonna burn all your cash, and then we don't know when we're coming out of this market. We don't know when venture capital is when the money is gonna be flourishing again and easily accessible. We don't know what it is, but you might be bankrupt before that happens.
Nah, like Metadata just put out their study on like ad spend, and it was pretty much around like a lot that has to do with marketing spend.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, if you are listening, I recommend going to look at Metadata's report. It was very interesting. There's a lot of insights. Maybe we should break it down on Revenue Bites as well.
Nah, seriously.
Yeah, but like it's a lot of being that, again, go-to-market roles are shifting, and it starts with marketing, which is why like this entire like episode has been focused on marketing, because it does start with marketing, because marketing was so far away from the revenue compared to sales and CS. And so honestly, like I guess now we could talk about the actual revenue bite to take away from the episode, which is really just
number one, accept it.
Yeah, just accept it.
I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. I wish I could go and tell the market, hey, make funding easy again. I don't want these companies to have to focus on trying to bootstrap the rest of the way. I want the marketers to have the biggest budgets in the world, but that's just not the reality of it. And then you got one or two options: you accept it or you quit. It's just that simple.
Yeah, it's you either have to. That's not either. You have to accept it, right? And it makes it easier to accept it by your head of marketings, or just really the entire go-to-market team, to just again zoom out, right, from what they have. Just zoom out from just the go-to-market and look at the company overall, and align the go-to-market goals with those goals. Because sometimes we've seen like they could be very, very different.
For sure. It's like, bro, break down the silos that you have in marketing, and it applied initially to the go-to-market team, and that's why RevOps became famous, because it's like break down the silos between marketing, sales, and CS. But for marketing, it's break down the silos between every department of the company, especially finance. Again, if you zoom out and you understand some of the other metrics that are important to the CFO, like how profitable are we? What's our CAC beyond the program, the marketing? Like, what's the total CAC? What's the total cost of the acquired customer that goes into all the things on the back end that marketing isn't involved in? And then like, what's the burn rate? Like, if you look at the burn rate, you can be like, oh Jesus, this is terrible. Maybe I don't need this extra budget. Maybe I can be a little more creative, because the company's going to tank in 12 months at this rate.
Yeah, because they do say the main focus of the CEO is to make the company money, and more importantly too, it's to not run out of money.
That's it.
I mean, I would pose this to any VP of any department, or really anybody in the company. Try looking at your task, at your job, through the CEO's eyes. Like, just try that, or just like, again, act as if it is your company. What would you do if this was your company? Just think through it. That's food for thought. And if you need help with that, Isaiah, just the simple resources. I mean, LinkedIn podcasts. Go read other podcasts. I wouldn't even say articles, because really all people do is take articles and repost it on LinkedIn anyways. I think almost everything you need is in LinkedIn. Where else? I mean, just throw something else in there.
Exit 5, RevGen. Like, go talk to other marketers. Like, go see what they're doing. Like, it's funny. The same sentiment works, because they say B2B buyers go talk to their peers when it's time to purchase new technology. Well, go talk to them about your struggles as well. Go talk to them about, hey, what are you doing? Hey, my budget just got cut 50%. What should I do? What have you done? What have you experienced? Like, go talk to them.
Oh, well, I'm a little experienced with budget being cut. I experienced 3 times. Let me tell you what I did, or what I would do.
Yeah.
But again, maybe it's a pride thing. A lot of people are they're a little more prideful about things like that.
I think another thing to throw on top of that, especially for marketers, and I don't know how popular it is for marketers to go and study venture capital and like the trends that are going on in venture capital. But I mean, here's a great statistic from Ernst & Young that I seen before we hopped on the call, and it's that companies raised $29.4 billion in Q2 of 2023. You think that's a lot of money, Shalik?
Sounds like a lot to me.
Well, guess what? It's a drop from $44.4 billion in Q1.
See, and if I'm not doing research, I would never know.
I would have never known. You would never. Like, yo, stay up on the trends. You talk. Can
Simple.
you talk about that? Because you made a post before about how CMOs need to treat their department like they're the CEO of their department.
Yeah, like you should understand. Same way a CEO has to understand what's going on with the market, with funding, with with hiring. You as a CMO or if you're the head of your department, you need to treat that as this is my company and I need to make this run the best way I can. You need to make sure and obviously it's harder for other people to do than other people. But that's what you have to do. You have to. So when it comes to getting updates, go subscribe to TechCrunch or something. Go subscribe. Go figure out what other CEOs or in your case a CMO. What are they subscribed to? Actually, go to your CMO and talk to them. Like, hey, where do you get your news from? Where do you get your news? And try to know about things in the market before your CEO does. You just go to your CEO and say, hey, we should do this change because of X, Y, and Z. And he'd be like, oh, where'd you get that from? Oh, well, I've been looking at the same thing that you get your news from. And it's it makes it so much easier when everybody is aligned on the overarching company, the overarching goals of the company and the market as a whole. You should understand funding as well. How hard is it for your company to go out there and get funding? Again, what is your burn rate? Not burn rate for marketing. What's the burn rate of the actual company? Go figure it out. Maybe marketing is taking up 90% of it. You never know. So that's definitely food for thought. I would definitely want everybody to take with them.
Yo, y'all heard his son just spit bars. Those was bars. Those was facts just now. But
spit bar. Can you run the song back, please?
I got to.
Here comes the
I
money.
want to revenue
Here we
spikes.
go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar.
Here's the ironic part. Here's the ironic part about that intro is that it says, "Here comes the money." No, it's not. You ain't the money not coming. It's not coming from venture capitalists. It's not coming from there. So you got to go make it on your own.
Not coming from nowhere else.
Nah.
That's crazy.
Nah, but look,
Exactly.
we got to wrap it up because look, I got to apologize for the first podcast. It went for an hour and a half. We trying to keep it under 35, 40 minutes because it is revenue bite. So we trying to keep it bite size.
Yeah, supposed to be bite size.
Yeah.
But that one, I think it went great. I think
Yeah.
I think we hit a lot of topics, man. And again, I cannot wait till we actually get a live audience. Probably next week, I think, is when we actually start getting people in. And again, if you're hearing this, I think we're gonna do 10 people at a time for every episode. I don't think we're gonna go past 10. We want to keep it intimate.
Yeah.
So, man, I can't wait. Yeah. So that pretty much sums up episode 4. Go to market roles are switching to the right. I hope that you're switching with them. What was the title again? Right is the new right.
Right is the new right. Yeah, right is the new right. Facts. Hold on, do we do the intro? Do we do the outro? The intro and the outro too? Is it the same thing or how we doing this? I never.
We can
know.
end it.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money
Oh my bad, I hit it.
Here
I hit
comes
it
the
anyway.
money. Money, money, money.